Welcome to Trevor Overload.
Hey, what's going on? It's that time again, back for another episode. This is my show, Trevor's Secret Code. I'm your host, Ricky Tikki Timbo. You guys remember that book? Ricky Tikki Timbo, no Sarimbo, Ali Bali Uchi, Pipberry Pimbo. I remember that story from when I was a kid, and I also think I saw it on Reading Rainbow or something, so maybe that's where I saw it. But anyway, I was looking it up again because the way I said it is probably not the way it goes. And the first thing that come up was like cultural appropriation and talking about whites writing and making fun of Chinese people's long names or some shit. And I was just like, God, you can't get away with anything these days. So if you're going to write a book about Chinese people, be Chinese. Don't do it as a white person because you'll get fucked over. Anyway, story time. So yeah, so we ended up getting go-karts to explore the property. And I mean, could you imagine a cooler thing? Now we don't have to walk, we can ride. And these go-karts were awesome, dude. Absolutely no padding on the seats, so it would just destroy our tailbones. You couldn't ride for more than 10 minutes without crying and screaming. We ended up putting pillows down, and that barely helped. Anyway, so we had our friends over at one point, and let me give you a little background information on these friends. Since we were in a cult, we were only allowed to hang out with other kids from the cult. Like, I had a bunch of friends at school, but we couldn't hang out with them outside of school because bad associations spoil useful habits. Some fucking shit my mom always said to us, right? Fucking bullshit, cult shit. Anyway, so we had to be friends with these other weird kids that, because it was the only people we could like hang out with and spend the night with and, you know, be normal kids with. We didn't get to pick them, though, so just keep that in mind. These weren't the friends that we wanted to be hanging out with most of the time. So they end up coming over, and Travis, my older brother, starts going with his friend, who was actually cool, and they started going out. We had a long driveway, like quarter-mile driveway, dirt and gravel, that you'd have to drive up, and then you'd get to the main street. And we lived in pretty much a big loop where it was all paved road, right? But it was still away from the main street, so it was just the people that lived around the area that would drive around it. So not a shit ton of traffic, just cars here and there. Pass a tractor wasn't abnormal, you know. So Travis convinced my dad to let him go on the street. And so they were driving on the street, and that to me was the sickest thing because that's where you were going to get max speed. We had a couple hills, so, you know, and you're on a paved road, so you're going to go as fast as those things can go. And I was so stoked to do it. I was so stoked to try it. And so they came back, and it was my turn. Dad was going to let me and my buddy go out onto the street. We're just over the moon, right? It was our first time. It was going to be my first time getting on that street, too. And I was just stoked to see how fast this thing could rip. Me and Kyle get in our go-karts. I give him the slower, shittier one. There's one that's slightly slower. You know, they're mine. God damn it. I'm going to ride the fast one. Plus, I get to go on the street the first time. Of course, I'm being a selfish little prick. So, I don't know. We're probably in middle school, something like that. And so we get in our go-karts. No goggles, no nothing, no gear, no safety equipment, no nothing like that. It's got a roll cage, so, you know, we're protected. We're safe. Okay, so I go in front of him, and I'm ripping down the dirt driveway. It's dirt and rocks. He's behind me, and what I don't realize is my wheels are kicking up dirt and dust and shit at him. So we're halfway up the driveway, and I look behind me, just making sure he's staying right by me, and I just see him go like this. You know? And so I'm like, oh, fuck. I better stop and let him ride side by side with me so he can see, you know? So in my genius, I slam on my brakes. Remember what I just showed you? He's doing this, so he can't see. So what happens when I hit my brakes? He doesn't hit his brakes. So I'm in front of him here. He comes up. Boom! Hits the back of mine at the perfect angle. Like, you know when those guys are going to ride on two wheels? It was like that. Except he hits and flies into the air. And all I see him do is break the cardinal rule. Don't stick your arms out. Instead, he goes, hands off wheels. Oh! fly, and he's just fucking spins. And guess where the fucking go-kart lands? On its side. Guess what's sticking out of the side? This motherfucker's arm. So I go and I pull it over. I'm like, oh my God, are you okay? And he's like, and holds up his arm, and it's in a U. It's in a U shape, dude. I was like, oh fuck. So I immediately go into panic mode. Instead of turning my go-kart back on and driving it back to my house, I just start running. So leave him in pain for just that much longer because I decide to run instead. I run, Dad, he broke his arm, right into my dad's arms in a panic mode. And my dad's just like, fuck, gets in the truck. This is where I got my anger issues from. Anyway, but my dad gets in the truck, goes up and gets him, immediately starts talking about lawsuits and shit. You know, that's immediately where his mind goes. Fuck this kid. His parents are going to sue me. Ends up getting him, taken him to the hospital. His parents met him, didn't sue us. But anyway, yeah, I had to tell you. And guess what? Didn't get to go on the street. And then we sold those go-karts about a week later. Yep, wasn't about to keep those fucking things. So I never made it to the street. Before that, though, we got to ride them all around the property and down the hills and stuff. So we got a lot of use out of them. Plus, I don't think my coccyx could get any more raped. So probably good time to get rid of those. Anyway, I remember those fondly, and that was just a fun story I had to tell. Let's get into cool shit as a kid. And oh, God. Cool shit as a kid, I had to bring up Starfox 64. So many good memories related to that game. Starfox 64, dude. It came out, I had a Mario 64, of course. That was the classic. I got that with the console first, played the shit out of it. Now when Starfox came out, though, that was speaking to me, man. And that, you know what? You had to be inverted on your vertical. And since that game, I play every game inverted. That one changed my brain. So you'll always see me. First thing I do on any game, change camera, vertical, inverted. People think it's weird, I know. But it was from controlling airplanes in Star Fox 64. So that game was so goddamn sick. I can remember, what was the first level, Corneria or whatever? Anyway. But it was so cool. So not only did you go through and beat the whole game, fly in your spaceship, but then you had a land tank that you could fly on. You had a submarine you could go into underwater. I mean, they were just pushing the boundaries of stuff you could do. Like, it was so cool to get into those different crafts and be able to kill all the different shit, fight all the bosses, throw your bombs, lock onto targets. And then you realize that there's medals for this shit. And each level had different medals, and each level had... I don't think each level had it, but there were different levels with secret paths that you could go to. Like in one, you'd have to hit a certain amount of warps and go into the secret place. And then it would take you on a whole different path where you'd have to do all these different things. And then to beat the very last boss, to beat Andross the right way, you had to get all the gold medals, which meant you had to kill a certain amount of bad guys in each level. So you had to be really precise, really perfect with how you were doing this. And it took a lot of practice. And I got so good at the game that I did it. I did all of them. I gold medaled every level. I mean, we were doing 100% achievement runs before achievements were even a thing. So, and I know that's why I still love to achievement hunt. And for a long time, I was doing that. And I had to get out of that mindset because some of those achievements are ridiculous on games. But anyway, and getting to where you beat Andross the right way, oh my God, it was so cool. Because guess what? You meet your dad. Your dad's got sunglasses. He looks sick. And then you start New Game Plus, pretty much New Game Plus. And Starfox is wearing sunglasses. Oh, how fucking cool was that? Dude, and that's all it took. That's all we needed. That's all I needed was a pair of sunglasses on my fictional Starfox character to make me the happiest little motherfucker ever. It was so cool. Also, you could play multiplayer mode up to 4 people because there were 4 characters in it. And then in multiplayer, you could get out of your like little tank, get out of your spaceship and just run around as your little character with a rocket launcher shooting at the other guys. I mean, it wasn't a practical way to fight anything because you were slow. I mean, you were tiny, so it was hard to hit. But fuck, how cool was that? So it was just pushing the boundaries of stuff we had not done before. And it was just so fun. If you never played Star Fox 64, you should find it and get it. I mean, it still holds up. It was just cool as shit. And then, you know what else came out when I was playing Star Fox 64? Rumble Pak! Dude, the Rumble Pak. That makes your controller vibrate. You shove it into the back of the N64 controller. And brrr. So that was like that was before that shit came out for the PlayStation and before controllers started rumbling. You had to buy an external pack, plug it into your N64 controller, and then rumble. And it was so thrilling for some reason to get shot and it shakes. And I mean, that was the start of all of the rumble. So super sick. I just remembered it so fondly. I had to share that with you. Let's get in next to cool stuff as an adult. I own my own house, right? And the amount of work I've had to do it is substantial. But I've done all this work with my father-in-law and learned so much from him, and that is cool shit as an adult. Dude, he is the handiest man you'll ever meet. If it comes to carpentry, he can do it. I don't know, if it comes to vehicles, he can do it. I don't think there's a thing this man cannot do when it comes to labor. Dude, he's such a badass. It's unreal. And he's given me tools. He's taught me tricks. The amount of stuff this man has done for me is just, I couldn't even begin to explain it. But I am going to tell you what we've done to my house and how much I appreciate it. So we had carpet, and carpet's fucking gross. I don't know why they did this stuff. I don't know why they were always using it. And ours was kind of like, not white, but a lighter color with the specklings in it. And we had animals, so there's a lot of traffic on the carpet. There's a lot of bare feet on the carpet. There's a lot of hair on the carpet. My wife was vacuuming like every day, every other day, and it just loads of shit that she would pull out of it. It was just gross. We were tired of it, man. We were sick of it. I didn't realize there were options out there. Like you can get a laminate version where it won't warp due to water, and it's supposed to be more protective and won't show as many slices. And anyway, you get it. But so we bought all that stuff, and I can't afford to fucking pay somebody to install all this stuff. So my father-in-law came down, and he helped me do it. He taught me how to do all of it. We ripped out all the carpet. We were chiseling away all the little boards, the tack strips and stuff. And then we laid all of that down. He brought all the right tools. We lined it all up. We did it in a cool pattern. Offset, and we did the entire house. Every single room, had to move everything. And this man does not quit. This man never stops working. To keep up with him is near impossible. He's been working his whole life and he just goes, dude. And I respect that hustle. He just likes to get shit done. Yeah, so he taught me how to do that whole process. Banged it all in. He brought all his tools and we cut away where we had to and just got it figured out. And now every time I get to look at the floor, because you start to take this stuff for granted, right? But I don't. Every time I look and walk on that floor, I think about him and I think about the work we put into it and how cool it is that I got to have a hand in doing that. And not only have we done that, he helped me build a patio in the backyard. The sun comes up and just wrecks my house from the back. I mean, just heats us up by 1,000 degrees. And he helped me build a patio. Him and my brother-in-law came over, drop everything they're doing, and build this shit in a weekend. It's unbelievable, the amount of work you can do. And a lot of it, I'll just stand there. I'll try to take the grunt work over, do the lifting or do the holding or give them whatever they need. Because they got the skills and they got the brains. And I pick up stuff as they go, And they're always there to teach you or to show you how to do it right, to show you the little tricks. And it's just so sick. It's been awesome to learn. I mean, you get tools over the years, but to actually use them effectively and know what you're doing has been such a wonderful thing to learn. And he's such a patient and wonderful man. I had to get it out there how good my father-in-law is. He taught me how to pour a concrete slab. It's not as basic as you think. You don't just dig a square and throw concrete in there, to even this stuff out, and the little tricks how to do it, and then how you, after it sets, and how you have to smooth it out and all that shit. It's cool. And then just the little stuff here and there, like you get problems with your siding and stuff starts to rot away. He taught me how to take out those pieces and replace those pieces. He's just always there to help, and it's weird because, I didn't have a relationship like that with a dad, so it's very cool to learn all that stuff and see the tricks and learn through patience, and it's just the kind of stuff that you want to pass on to your own kids, you know? And I just have nothing but respect for that man, and I'm so glad that he's helped me do all this stuff at my house, because I can think of him, I can feel the pride of having done it myself and learned how to do it. So that's been really cool as an adult. So maintain your relationships with the older generations, dude, because they've got a lot of cool tricks and stuff, and they've picked up a lot over the years. And you can learn a lot from them. That's what I'm trying to do. All right, let's get into Relevant Today. And what's relevant is, this is a couple days after, but on Saturday, huge UFC event. I think it was 313. Man, I was stoked. If you don't like the UFC, if you don't want to hear about my little take on sports, skip ahead to the outro. I don't give a fuck. But yeah, dude, the UFC was banging. So first of all, my buddy from LA comes down. Jesse, shout out to you, homie. He came down as a surprise, had no idea he was coming until my kids ruined it. He brought his girlfriend, Liberty. She was awesome to me. I'd heard so much about her. Shout out to you too, Liberty. Anyway, so that was sick. Already, you're making an event that I wanted to watch that much better, because Jesse's the one that I always talk about UFC with. That's my UFC boy. He's always sending funny memes and shit in our little chat box, so that was cool. And then, of course, my brother-in-law watches it with us. He likes it to an extent, you know. He's not a diehard fan. He's more of a basketball guy, but he still watches it with us and shoots the shit about it. So I was so pumped. Went over to their house. I made this banging loaded baked potato salad. It was so good. And to that I say, add fats, because fats make everything better. So I was putting mayonnaise and sour cream, ranch. It turned out. Anyway, so we went over there. We were going to have dinner and just started watching the UFC. It was on 3:30. Main event starts at 7. So just an all-day thing. And I was pumped. And the one I was pumped for the most, dude, Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje fighting Rafael Fiziev again. I don't know anything about Fiziev. I don't give a fuck about him. Gaethje, I love. Love this boy. He just stands and bangs. He's just a slugger, dude, and that's fun to watch, because he just puts his life on the line and goes out there to punch people in the face. I mean, his whole thing is live by the sword, die by the sword, you know? He knows that it's not healthy for him, but you gotta go. That's what he loves, so he's gonna go out there and do it. CTE be damned. And that's what he did, and goddamn was that cool, man. You just stand there punching each other, punching the lights out of each other. And Fiziev did great. I mean, he stood, and for him to stand and strike with Gaethje, I mean, you've got to, I don't care how brave you are, you've got to be fucking scared, because this dude hits like a truck. And he's 36, so he is getting closer to the 40, you know, and age gets them all. It just happens. But 36, he's probably got a couple years left of standing and banging, right? And man, they put on a show. I just wish it would have been 5 rounds. Not for the sake of their health, because that's brain damage waiting to happen. But just because it's never enough to watch these guys just do what they love and to go after it. And it was amazing. You can always go back and watch. You can find full MMA fights. And the Gaethje-Fiziev fight was the one I was waiting for. Gaethje ended up winning, and I was just so elated. I mean, that's what I wanted to see. I was so stoked. He's my boy. I went back and have watched all his fights before the UFC. Anything that was televised with Gaethje in it, I have watched, because he's always been a badass. Shout out to you, Justin Gaethje. You're fucking awesome, and I rue the day that you will retire. And then, of course, we can't talk about it without talking about the main event, which was Alex Pereira Poatan versus Magomed Ankalaev. And these fucking Dagestanis are taking over the goddamn UFC just because they're so good. Their skills are amazing. They know how to wrestle. They know how to punch. They know how to do it all. They're just anomalies, man. So I'm rooting for Poatan because I've seen him defend his title, and I like him. Chama! I like how stone-faced he is. He's just a cool person to root for. As far as the fight, I mean, yeah, you got to go in with game plans. Poatan can't get taken down, I get that, so he's being extra defensive, not throwing as many punches as you would like. But they both did a great job. I thought he got outstruck by Ankalaev in a couple, but I thought he also came back and won a couple. His takedown defense was absolutely amazing. I think he 100%ed it, which was like 10 takedown attempts, maybe even more by the end of the fight, and he was doing amazing. But it just wasn't enough pressure on his end. And I'm not going to analyze because, like I've said before, these guys are doing shit I could never do. And the fear that you have to experience when you're going through that, otherworldly. Anyway, so UFC was sick. Jesse, thank you so much for coming down. You made that event just that much better, man. And that'll live in my memory for a while. Especially because I don't fucking drink and I don't fucking smoke. So I can remember everything. Suck my fucking butt. Was that it? Are we done? I've probably gone a little bit long. Hey, nothing wrong with that. My show and I'll do what I want. Oh, but here we go. Ready for the outro. Here we go. So this song, I didn't know the title of before I looked it up because I don't ever care about song titles. I just care about how they go. But this one is from a band that I personally love, and I will always love, and they've been important to me since I was a high schooler. Alkaline Trio. The song is called Keep 'Em Coming, which, you know, with my lyric changes is going to be absolutely fitting. So this song goes, 14 hours ahead, a head that's heavier than lead, and I've got toothpicks in my eyes, a smile more yellow than the skies. I got a song stuck in my head. Yeah, look it up. Great song, great band. They've got so many bangers. I don't know what you call them, but to me it was punk-y, but then I guess it's kind of punk pop. But they're fucking awesome. I don't give a shit. Label them whatever you want. Just, if you like good music, go listen to it. Him and Dan Andriano, and I wish I knew the drummer's name because he's fucking fire, but super good. I think they've gone through a couple. Anyway, my version is a little different. And see, nothing's safe from me. Nothing. Not even stuff I love. I don't have control over this superpower. It is what it is. So, here's mine. 14 hours ahead, and now my wiener's raw and red, and I've got jizz stains on my thighs, probably from fucking all these guys. He put his dong in my white bread, now it tastes like rye instead. That's all I'm gonna do. I love it. He put his dong in my white bread, now it tastes like rye instead. Ryan. His name could be Ryan, because he's a guy. Yeah, I know. You guys aren't smart enough to catch on to the shit, so I have to explain it to you. I'm just kidding. Maybe you're not. If you're watching me, you're probably not that smart. Anyway, thanks for coming back. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, so that's really all that matters, because I'm just going to keep doing it for that reason. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Instagram, but just find me on YouTube. The same, if I ever post shorts on Instagram and TikTok, they're from YouTube anyway, so just find me there, come back. I'm always open to suggestions, how to fix my background or how to reframe myself. So yeah, thanks. Have a great week, enjoy, and don't forget, praise the sun. See you later.